What's going on, family and friends? Just on here to encourage our faith. Um, it's almost like it's easy to say something, but when it's time to step off the boat and walk on the water, it's a different story, you know? So it's amazing how I need God to increase uh, the faith of the Lord in me, that I may even believe and run with what He's revealing. One of the things that, I was leaning on is help. Someone sent me information as far as to get help, but it's connected to the government, you know? And, I was heading in that direction, and God was like, almost like, what are you doing, you know? The whole point of all this is to disconnect from the government, you know? And he was saying that that's the problem with the churches today, that they're connected to the government because they're getting loans from the government. So they become slaves of the government, and most do whatever needs, they compromise because of the finances that they're getting from the government. So basically this ministry, this vision, ain't none of it gonna be connected to the government as far as financial help, you know? So it increased the faith level that's needed to trust God even more, to make a way without government's hands being in it at all. Because everything that it touches, government related or loans or anything of that nature, becomes contaminated. And this is a ministry that's not going to be contaminated or touched by the government. This is something that God's going to build from the ground up. Is meaning that He is going to provide everything that's needed, including every penny or whatever it may be, how He decides or chooses to do it, as far as to bring the vision to pass, as far as the farm, to be in a place where we have to help others once again. And that's what the whole thing is about, is getting to a place where we have not only for ourselves, because our problem is selfishness. I think about myself, and it can't be like that. When God begins to take over your heart, it begins to transform to the point where you're no longer thinking about yourself, but about how you can be a help to others with the gift that God has put in you. So I'm not speaking out of terms or anything of that nature. I'm speaking from the vision and the gifts that God has given me. So that's why it's important to discover who you are and the gifts that God has put in you, so that you can operate on that area, because that's the area that's going to produce fruit, because that's the gift that God has given you. Now, the gifts needs to be refined and shaped up one way or another, but that's what God's been doing all this time, especially to those who He has chosen for a time as this to accomplish His will and purpose here on the earth. Because once again, there's evil, but there's also good. There has to be good and evil. There has to be someone fighting, someone corrupt and someone not corrupt, or coming against the corrupt. We're not looking for nobody perfect here. God can use whoever He wants to use, when He wants to use, and how He wants to use. So once again, this just increases as far as the faith level, because now I have to believe God without the help of any government that can contaminate the vision or God's will one way or another. So once again, the whole point is disconnecting from those things that can control us and continue or tell us what to do. We're not doing that here, because that's not God's will, and that's not what He wants for this vision anyway. So more will be reviewed. I'm just here to encourage your faith that, we're walking this out together, because I don't know how things are going to happen, but you know what? As I look past my history from the past, God has always been faithful and provided one way or another, even when I didn't deserve it. So how much more now to benefit the lives of others one way or another. Thanks for being part of this walk with me, because we're going to grow in faith together, how God always intended it to be. More will be with you. Thanks for hearing me out.